In 2026, Titanic II, an ultra-modern luxury cruise ship, is set to retrace the original Titanic's journey from Southampton to New York. The ship is a passion project of billionaire shipping magnate Victor Lancaster, who claims that this voyage will honor those who perished in 1912 while proving that modern technology has conquered nature. Among the passengers are Dr. Evelyn Carter, a marine archaeologist obsessed with Titanic's history; Jack Dawson, Jr., a distant relative of the original Jack Dawson carrying a mysterious heirloom; Captain Robert Hastings, an experienced sailor skeptical of the voyage; Alex Mercer, a tech genius responsible for the ship's AI-driven safety systems; Lena Moreau, a journalist investigating a dark secret about the ship's construction. As the ship departs, festivities ensue. The grand ballroom glows with opulence, and guests enjoy the luxury once denied to those aboard the ill-fated original Titanic. However, beneath the celebrations lies unease. Rumors swirl that Lancaster cut corners in the ship's design, and whispers of an ancient curse tied to the wreckage haunt the passengers. As Titanic II sails over the very site where the original Titanic sank, Dr. Carter and her research team use underwater drones to explore the old wreckage. What they discover shocks them: a massive fissure in the ocean floor, leaking an unknown substance. Further analysis reveals something terrifying. An enormous underwater volcanic rift has begun to open. If it erupts, it could trigger a mega tsunami. Dr. Carter rushes to warn Captain Hastings, but Lancaster refuses to alter course, fearing bad press. Meanwhile, Lena Moreau uncovers confidential documents proving that Titanic II's hull was made with substandard materials to cut costs. When she attempts to confront Lancaster, she mysteriously vanishes. As night falls, the ship's AI system, overseen by Alex Mercer, begins detecting strange sonar signals, unnatural movements in the depths below. Suddenly, a violent tremor shakes the ship. Lights flicker, alarms blare, and chaos erupts. Without warning, a massive chunk of an underwater glacier collapses, sending an enormous wave racing toward Titanic II. Despite Mercer's efforts to steer the ship, the wave slams into, flooding lower decks and disabling communication. Panic spreads as passengers scramble for lifeboats. Dr. Carter, Jack Dawson, Jr., and Captain Hastings work together to guide survivors. Meanwhile, Lancaster, refusing to abandon his dream, orders the crew to keep the ship moving at full speed. A fatal mistake. The weakened hull begins to crack and water pours in. As the ship tilts, Jack Jr. learns the truth about his ancestors' heirloom. It contains coordinates of a hidden compartment aboard the original Titanic, rumored to hold a priceless artifact. He realizes Lancaster had another motive for the voyage: to retrieve the lost treasure. As fires break out and the ship begins to split, Lancaster boards a private escape pod, leaving everyone behind. However, karma strikes. His pod malfunctions, sinking into the abyss. With the ship on the verge of total collapse, the survivors reach the last remaining lifeboats. Jack Jr. and Dr. Carter manage to send a distress signal, but the rescue ships are still hours away. As the deck floods, they climb to the highest point of the ship, mirroring Jack and Rose's struggle over a century ago. In a final act of courage, Captain Hastings stays behind, manually releasing the remaining lifeboats before the ship is finally consumed by the ocean. Just when all hope seems lost, helicopters and rescue teams arrive, pulling survivors from the freezing waters. Dr. Carter, Jack Jr., and Mercer survive. But the tragedy leaves a haunting lesson. Humanity's arrogance in challenging nature will always come at a price. Days later, a deep-sea submarine scans the wreck of Titanic II. Among the debris, the camera captures something chilling: a pristine portrait of a young man, Jack Dawson. As the screen fades to black, a single message appears: some legacies never sink.